Cancer, 16 rounds of chemotherapy, multiple surgeries, feeling alone, feeling isolated. Those are the things that I felt while I was going through cancer. Those are the things that someone is feeling today. One Tough Cookie is here to help.
Welcome back to Focus on You with Phil and Oscar. I am Phil, and of course,
I'm Oscar. Getting my lighting done correctly. Kind of had the wrinkles.
It doesn't matter, Oscar. The lighting isn't going to help. Okay. So what's going on, man? How you doing?
Oh man, good. I'm feeling great. I'm started a keto diet about a week and a half ago. I'm down 7 pounds. I'm a happy camper eating beef, beef and bacon and cheese. What a tough life I have.
You know what's funny is I have been on the same, well, not keto, but I've been trying to lose some weight too, and I think that it's working. Only that my stomach isn't cooperating.
It's because you misspelled it. You're doing Cheetos. You're not doing keto. Those little orange things, it's not a diet. I keep trying to tell you that.
And that's why I'm going to block you on Facebook, okay? That's exactly why I'm going to block you. Yes, third time is a charm. Fourth time, maybe. Was it the fifth time? I don't know. I'm run out of choices. But look at all this stuff that's going on, man. First, we have the smoke coming from Canada. We talked about a little bit last week. And now we have a former president being indicted. Wow.
It's the system
Life in a circus.
Doing what it does.
We have nothing. There's always something to talk about. Next thing you know, we're going to read on the news, Canada invades America. Oh, no. Never saw that coming.
Why would they want to?
Exactly. But that's we're in Bizarro world, man. Oh. It's called Bizarro world. It's like, what's next? What is next? I tell you what's next. We have a great guest today, and he is phenomenal. He is like
Donovan here to balance out the craziness.
Guy that you want to meet. He's the guy you want to talk to. His name is Donovan Rodriques, and we're going to digging into him today. Very interesting person to interview. He's done so much for his own community in Inglewood and much more. So we're going to dig into that and talk about that today. But first, let's talk a little bit about the AI world that we're living in now. If you're wondering, yes, this is the real Phil and this is the real Oscar. For now, give us 5 years, we'll develop our own avatar. Yeah, but what do you think? What do you think, Oscar? How do you think this is going to run? How do you think this is going to go for us?
I know how it's going in the cybersecurity world because I do workshops on identity theft and identity theft is one thing, but scammers are a totally different thing. And with AI, you're getting the old grandma scam that little Joey is being held captive, and now they can just duplicate little Joey's voice. So Joey will be talking to grandma in his voice. How do you stop that? How do you and it's all about education, teaching people. And my workshop, I do one simple thing: teach your kids, teach your grandkids, a one keyword that only you and they know. So if that comes up, like what's the keyword? What's your safe word? If they can't do that safe word, then you know it's an AI and it's not them. So it could be
That's a great idea.
like blue pickles or something that is not, it's not easily guessable, and that is your safe word to find out that it's really not your family member that's being kidnapped.
Right. And the other thing is too, don't use things that you would normally do, like watch a program that you would normally watch. Like, what's your favorite program? Because that can be tracked digitally.
Right.
So
Not your pet's name, any of that, because that people use that for keywords. People, and again, what you're doing a lot of times is like take this survey, and what they're doing with those surveys is gathering information. You don't know who's putting out those surveys. What was the name of your favorite dog? Where did you live when you were 5 years old? All these little bits of data, you're actually volunteering the scammers your information. So this is why I put on workshops. A lot of people don't realize how much you're helping the scammers get your information and gather information.
absolutely. So don't forget to tune into Oscar's seminars when he posts them on his channel, so that you can get more information. It's also on the PNN app, PNN network. You don't want to miss out on that. That's why we do what we do. All right, here we go. Now for our featured guest, none other. Give him a round of applause, Mr. Donovan Rodriguez.
There he is.
Donovan.
Hello, Dr. Phil and Oscar. So good to see you.
Are we underdressed?
You are underdressed. Your clothes is on you. Yes.
I think that Oscar always feels a little bit underdressed. So
I don't own a tie. I don't think I own a tie at all. Not even a clip-on.
Well, I didn't get the memo, so I just dressed the way I normally dress for work.
It's Casual Wednesday.
Yes. Maybe I should have that around here.
I love when Zoom started. There was that funny commercial of some guy sitting on his couch and he's like in a t-shirt and cap, and you hear the Zoom thing going off, and he runs over and he has a suit clip on. He just clips on this suit and one long sleeve, and takes off his cap and pours his beer in a coffee mug and turns on the Zoom like, "Good afternoon." But that's a real tie, real jacket, real books behind you.
Yes, except for the conspiracy theories. If you are one, yes, it is an AI-generated background and AI-generated person speaking to you. And for the rest of us, it's all real.
What's your safe word? We're going to make sure it's you. See, we'll put that into effect right now.
I haven't figured one out yet. I was I was backstage listening to you, and it sounds like we're in a war zone where we want to have, in order to avoid enemy fire, we need to have a special color code every day. But I think it's something to think about. But I haven't thought of a safe code yet. My son is very much into the world of AI and technology, so he's pretty adept at figuring out fact from fiction and what's real. We've been teaching him, to question everything. So
that's the idea. So tell us about who is Donovan. How did Donovan get to where he is?
So I'm a business and entertainment attorney. I focus my law practice on representing clients in film and television, from concept through development, financing, production, distribution, and beyond. I represent film producers, as well as television production companies, and a number of tech startups in the entertainment space.
I mean, can you get us discount tickets for stuff? Come on, Phil, we got to hit him up for some, Phil?
Sure, you can get a discount on your next retainer, like 0.5% off. Yes.
Okay, so my discount would have to be 100% discount, um, plus amenities, and bonuses. So, how does that sound? I think that's fair.
I think
Is
that's
that the
called
family discount?
distortion.
Sounds fair. Yes. Yes.
So Donovan, how
So,
did you?
tell us.
Okay, go, Phil. It's your turn.
Okay, so Donovan, tell us real quickly what motivates you, and why should we retain your services?
I'm motivated by my clients' success. Their success is my success. And so I go the extra mile to make sure that I understand my clients' needs. And even, there are you doctors who complain sometimes that their patients come in and they're telling them what to prescribe. Well, I do have clients who come in and they think they know what they want in terms of their legal and business needs. But I first ask them to step back a little and give me all the facts. Start from the beginning. Tell me everything that I need to know about your matter. And then I advise them, even quite often, it's contrary to what they thought that they needed. But based on my business and legal expertise and experience, and based on the facts presented to me, I'm able to advise the client on a course of action that would be beneficial to them and their business. Uh, I'm special in the sense that I represent filmmakers and I'm a filmmaker myself. So not only are you getting um, legal counsel in terms of understanding contracts, reviewing contracts, drafting contracts, but I'm also providing a lot of those skill sets that a film producer would provide regarding a production in terms of looking at the business outcome and planning 10 to 20 steps ahead from the idea stage all the way through so that the project and the investors, the filmmakers can maximize on the upside of their project.
So
So I have on-set real-world experience with film and television production, and I bring that to the table. I also have screenwriting experience, and so I bring that to the table. So my clients are getting an all-in-one package for one fee.
so you're behind the scenes and in front. So you've done both. So now you're looking at it like I've been there. I know what you need. So what would be the biggest mistake people make by not hiring you? What do you see? Have you seen them, call you too late or
Yes, the biggest mistake would be to uh, l- try to hire an attorney or hire me at the end of everything, or when you run into problems in the middle of production, and the director is upset and the crew is upset, and the screenwriter doesn't have a written contract for his or her screenplay, and you're looking to speak to distributors, but now you need to provide chain of title and you have nothing in writing. So, and that happens quite a lot, especially for lower budget independent productions. Everybody wants to save money, and so they cut corners. And usually, the attorney is the first person they uh, cut from the budget. But that's a really serious mistake because 9 out of 10 times the producer ends up having to find an attorney, and a lot of times it's already too late. A lot of times they no longer have any bargaining power because they are now looking to have agreements after the fact and so they've lost all their leverage. So to avoid this mistake, I strongly encourage people, the moment you decide to start a production, or the moment you get an idea that you would like to um, translate to the screen, you should consult with an attorney, both to protect that idea and also to protect your interests along the way. And also get in touch with someone who will think about the bigger picture, not just the legal protections, but the uh, commercial prospects for your project.
Yeah, that sounds like trying to hire you after the fact is like trying to get, collision insurance after you've hit a tree. It's like, now how do we put this back together?
Right.
Better to start from the beginning, get it all done, make it seamless. The last thing you want is a storm coming up in the middle of production. Now what? Now you got to deal with the storm and everything else you're trying to do. Um, are Do you help people to make sure that their ideas aren't being copied by other people? Is that your part of what you do, or
So people can copy your ideas. Um, uh, uh, there's nothing anyone can do about that. But if your ideas are protectable, that's important, right? Because not all ideas are protectable. Most ideas aren't protectable because they're just ideas. But if your ideas are protectable, I encourage clients to register the copyright with the U.S. Copyright Office. Um, if you have ideas that are not protectable, I encourage clients to enter into contracts with people who will be looking at your ideas, with whom you'll be sharing those ideas, such as a non-disclosure agreement, or some type of agreement that says to the recipient, we're having these discussions, with a view to enter into some kind of business relationship. If the relationship doesn't work out, please keep my ideas confidential, and don't take them and make them into your own project, right? So there are two ways you can protect ideas. One, if it's copyrightable, then you can register the copyright. So it doesn't prevent someone from copying the ideas. What it does is that if someone does copy the ideas without authorization, you may sue for copyright infringement. And bear in mind, if the ideas are copyrightable. And the other version is it's an agreement between two parties that I'm not going to take your ideas and run with it unless I pay you some kind of compensation. And that's a contract.
that that sounds, yeah, getting that cross the T's and dot the I's to make sure everything is in place. And people, I guess people don't realize, there you need you need legal representation for pretty much anything you do, and yours is specialized for the theater and the movie production industry.
Right.
How many? I think there's like 20 or 12 or 20. I can't remember specific areas of law that need to be addressed, and you can't go to a general doctor if you have a brain problem. You need that specific type of doctor.
Absolutely. Another mistake I've seen people make is they go to their uncle or friend who is an attorney to review or draft up contracts, and then there's a problem, and they come to me, and it turns out that their friend or uncle was, a family lawyer or a divorce attorney or real estate, something totally unrelated to the matter at hand. So yes, you don't want to go to the wrong doctor just as much as you don't want to go to the wrong type of lawyer.
Yeah, you don't want to go to the best podiatrist in the world if you have a brain tumor. It's like, no, it's just not. Yeah, well, he's a doctor, like not the same.
It's like I was watching Shazam. I think it was Shazam, the new Shazam movie, and he's laying there and he's spilling his guts, and the guy says to him, "I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm a pediatrician." Okay. He's like, do you understand that you're spilling your guts to a pediatrician? This is not my training, you
Yeah.
know. But
Yeah.
is that a common mistake that you get in your field?
Well, I mean, if you're talking about a psychiatrist, then that's something that pretty much all lawyers have to do. Not as psychiatrists per se, but we have to provide counsel. And it's we're attorneys at law, and attorney and counselor at law. So we're really counselors, and invariably, I have to deal with clients who I have to um, listen carefully to, show them a lot of compassion, and provide them with emotional and social and emotional uh, type of counsel. Because I have to first bring them to a place where they can understand what they need and what the other parties need, and how we can effectively move forward. So lawyers in general are counselors in a lot of respects.
Yeah, and in every TV show, they always say counsel approach the bench. They don't say, "Hey, lawyers, legal counsel."
Exactly. Yes. So
Yeah. What's the favorite part? What's the favorite thing about what you're doing? What's your like? Wow, I love doing this work. And that you come up with.
um, I love working with creatives. It's just it moves me. It's stimulating to work with people who create stuff out of nothing. Their ingenuity, the art in what they do. It's just it's what drives me. It's the main reason why I decided to focus my legal career working with people in entertainment, is that I love people who create stuff, and a lot of times out of thin air, like magic. It's like magic what my clients do, and that is the best part for me.
So
Wow.
how did you pick this career? Did you have someone that influenced you, and or someone you looked up to, or family members that this is a good career for you?
So I've been in entertainment all my life since I was a kid. I'm a classically trained violinist, and I was involved in writing, directing, and acting in plays all the way through college. And so when I finished law school, my first job with a small law firm, uh, they were doing commercial law and entertainment law, representing mostly musicians, music entertainers. And but I've always so I was encouraged by my boss then to leave Jamaica, Kingston, and come to New York, because I would have a better opportunity to meet clients who are in the film and television industry, and to focus my practice in that area, rather than staying in the West Indies, where there's a lot of music, but not a lot of opportunities for representing film and TV clients.
So here in the East Coast, there's a lot of people, a lot of opportunities. I've been to Kingston several times, but Kingston, New York, the old capital of New York.
it's not the same. I think I did. I think I did see a Jamaican restaurant in Kingston, New York, but that's the only thing Jamaican about it.
That's the only thing that's
There's
Jamaican
also
about.
a Kingston in Ontario as well.
Really?
Yes. So I got stranded. I decided to take my son to go visit with his mom and grandma and family in Canada during the blizzard that we had in December, and so I had to stay at a bed and breakfast there in Kingston. Yes.
Yeah, I
What do
got
you what do you love most about your culture?
My culture?
Hmm.
Which culture? The
You
law
tell me.
culture, or? Yes. Um, so what I love most about being a lawyer is the type of people and the quality of the people that I get a chance to meet on a daily basis and to work with, and to share in their successes and failures too, right? Because we're in an industry that most projects fail, but it never deters anyone. They just keep trying. They keep going at it. Some projects take, you know, 10 years to make, but the filmmakers never give up. And so that's that's what I like about the culture. The fact that people are able to take an idea, um, uh, craft it some more, develop it into a treatment, write a script, or if it's a documentary, to take an idea. I want to make a movie about wolves in the Alaskan wilderness, and they take their camera and they sit for days and nights in the cold, and then they take all that footage back to the editing lab and develop a story around it. I mean, it is like, you know evolution. It is like creation. It is like painting. It is like composing music. It is fascinating how we can take little things and create big moments that influence and entertain people for life.
I forgot
That
I forgot
is
the guy's name in he was on Channel 13 a long time ago, and he did something really special, which he did his documentaries without any video movement. It was all still pictures and zooming in and out, and it was such a creative way to do. I forgot the guy's name, but it was so creative because it was the picture was moving on the screen, but it wasn't a video since it
Right.
was it was old, but it was really well done. And I noticed that. I'm like, that's genius. I've never seen that done before with just still pictures zooming in and out and moving those pictures slowly on the screen. I'm very technically minded, so that's what I picked up on. Like, look at that. The technique of, like, it's not a video, but it's still pictures creating movement with camera zoom and actually moving the image. I found that fascinating.
And I mean, motion picture is
go ahead. Go ahead.
really just a series of still pictures moving. So
Right.
it's really not a new concept, except when you have one picture and you're zooming or panning across it.
Right.
But a motion picture is, if it's still photos in motion, and the rate of motion give you a different look. But it is still moving pictures.
I got a question on you said, you take your film, you do this. Have you had clients that, like, in the middle of the film say, I'm going in a totally different direction? What do we do?
Yes, but then the problem now is, what about the budget? What about the schedule? And will the project now be taken over by someone else because you decide to go somewhere else? So I I don't know. I don't remember any project that I've been involved with that does that, but there are legal and factual and economic implications for doing that.
Yeah, I figure somebody's has an idea, and all of a sudden, in the middle of production, like, oh, I know, let's take this, and then it's got to mess up everybody's schedule and budget and everything else, and, like, call the lawyers quick, we got to change everything around.
Well, and the completion guarantor will probably jump in and take over the project if that's happening. But it all depends. Yes.
It's fat. I've never thought
I mean,
about.
clearly, if it's your money and you're willing to still pay your crew and cast, um, then by all means, do whatever you like.
I remember
as
the
long
the
as
old the old DVD days. You would get the director's cut, and there would be alternate endings to different movies. So it's like
right.
we're going all right. We're going this direction. We're going this direction. We're going this direction. It's like wow, that's got to be crazy for everybody involved. Like I got a new idea. No, no, stop.
Right. But the director's cut is not a new idea. It's more like the director gets to make his film or her film, and the producer or production company get to make their film, but from the same project or footage. There are rare cases where the budget would allow for reshoots just for the director's cut, but the director's cut is just it's not a new direction in terms of the filming process. Could be a new direction in terms of the final story that's being told,
Storyline has to
because the
change.
storytelling process starts from the moment the screenwriter or the producer has an idea to when to the screenwriter writing the screenplay in the case of a feature or television show. Then the director will take that script and will further will have to translate it or adapt it. And that as well is a storytelling process. The DP he or she hires also has an input in how the story is told, the look, the feel, the style. And then the editor um, uh, gets to tell the story as well by looking at the footage and then making those cuts and arrangements, which can change the rhythm, the tempo, the feel, the look, even the dialogue can be changed at any stage during post production. And so the story is constantly being written all the way until the finished film is released in the theaters or on television.
And is it common for after the previews to go back and re-edit and refilm and reshoot other scenes? Like I know I believe in Jaws the famous scene where the head comes out of the boat was shot post production because they're like we need to jump out of your seat scene and that was filmed in a swimming pool. So it was
Yes. So that's exactly right. So you can do pickup shots, do reshoots. You can even have actors come into the studio and do additional dialogue. You can make a lot of changes all the way until you're satisfied and say, well, this is the picture that I want to release.
Nick, one of my favorite movies was Memento. Again, from a technical,
I love the film references you're making. It looks like we need to hang out somewhere, Oscar. Because
absolutely.
these are my favorite movies.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there technically going, they had to film the movie, basically cut it up into little pieces, put it back together, and it's like I was like fantastic. And the other thing I loved was I think it was Black Mirror. It was a totally interactive show. You chose which way the characters were going, and then spoiler alert, it ends the same no matter what you do. But there's are different ways, and you were actually like you were the director. You get to say, all right, here are the two choices for this character. You go with one choice and you see the way the whole storyline evolves, and then you go back and now like, oh, I'm going to make the other choice and see the way that evolved. I love that interactive part. So that technology is doing a lot of things for us. It's letting us do a lot. And glad people like you are keeping these guys in line. Make sure they're doing it right.
And with artificial intelligence, making alternative endings or alternative scenes could become much easier.
Yeah.
Netflix does have a few nature documentaries that are user interactive, and you can choose alternate endings to a particular scene or sequence. Very interesting. I've watched them with my son, and he loves them. But those you have to actually film, right? And film alternative scenes, alternative endings. But with artificial intelligence and the technology getting so good, you wonder if filmmakers or producers wouldn't be able to just create these alternative sequences and scenes um, in the editing room instead of having to go out and reshoot.
Ooh, there we go.
I mean, we could get to the stage where it could all be done on your computer, whereas the AI can sense how you feel, what you're thinking, and change the movie based on the viewer's thoughts. With the new Apple uh, 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 VR headsets coming out, could be a possibility in the future. Who knows?
And how did that? That's a question. How does AI affect what you do? Is that putting a new layer of um, legal needs for people if they're going to start using AI in their productions?
Well, I mean, AI has always been used in film and television to some extent. I mean, you use AI when you use Photoshop, right? It adds contrast or change the tone, or you crop something, remove the background. This is all AI. Um, so it's not new. However, the what's new now are the use of generative AI to create images, to create images of people, to change, to create an actual person, a visual of an actual person, their voice. Um, Now the question is this false? Is it really the person? Uh, uh, and also, we have the issue of copyright infringement with generative AI, whether or not the information that it produces is copyrightable, which the Copyright Office has said no, because copyright uh, it has to be created by people, by humans, and so a machine uh, that just takes a prompt and generates an output does not that work is not copyrightable. And then the other issue is whether or not that work is an infringement on the copyright of the work of others, because
on
the
somebody else.
creators of the AI, they use other people's work, whether it be artwork or books or you know films or scripts, as part of the data that they use in their algorithm. So it is a very interesting world we're in now, and the Copyright Office is trying its best
Catch up.
to find a way to regulate and manage this situation before it gets out of hand. And there are many countries around the world, including the EU, the UK, the US. They're looking at legislation to regulate the use of AI, which I think is a good thing, because I don't want 100 years from now that AI can just boss me around, tell me what to do, and I have to take it.
Well, that's not
I
going to
want to be
take.
able to say to AI, I have rights, right?
It's not going to take 100 years, because I just watched a story which was incredible. An AI lying to people. See, it got that captcha that
Well, you just have to
has
watch Fox News or read
Ah,
uh,
ah.
a lot of articles on the web. There's a lot of misinformation that's generated by AI, and
well,
that's
this
one
is
of the
what
reasons
the
why
AI
we.
did was it had to go through captcha, which is a human being doing that. The AI hired someone to do that. And the guy asks, "Are you a robot?" He says, "No, I have a vision impairment and I can't see So now the AI is actually lying to help itself. So you're saying AI is going to create a movie. How do you know that AI isn't going to create the movie and then copyright it before it gives it to you?
Well, based on current law, the AI can't create anything that's copyrightable.
You know, they
So
can go now. Now the AI will go in and change the law.
at the moment, we still have humans who are in control of law.
And I'm just bringing up some
passing-
points to make sure we stay ahead as long as we can.
Yes.
That sounds like the Terminator scenario.
It's Skynet, baby.
Right. So a lot of it is still fiction, but we need to think ahead, and pass legislation that will help to protect Black people and minorities from further systemic discrimination from AI generated content, from AI being used to violate our freedoms, our rights, and clearly from sending out misinformation and pretending that it's real news.
Okay, so we're going to take a short break, and then Donovan is going to come back and let you know just how you can reach out to him, connect with him, and he can help you get whatever you have in your imagination into real life legally. Right? So somebody can't copyright your idea before you get it into the real on the real platform. So stay tuned for after this.
Cancer, 16 rounds of chemotherapy, multiple surgeries, feeling alone, feeling isolated. Those are the things that I felt while I was going through cancer. Those are the things that someone is feeling today. One Tough Cookie is here to help.
All right, so we are back, and we have with us Donovan Rodrigues, who is an entertainment attorney. Donovan, this has been great having you on. Just let us know, how can folks reach out to you? They're in their creative process, and you can help them with the rest.
So my website is rodrigueslaw.com. Can call me at 212-804-8663 or shoot me an email. That's the drodriguez@rodrigueslaw.com.
Awesome.
Thank you for being on with us today and enlightening
Thank you
us
for
on-
having me. And it's so nice to see you both again.
Look at that, a lying lawyer. I can't believe that. Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful. Yeah, thanks so much.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Great. It was really great. And we'd love to have you back on again, Donovan. There's one question.
We'll have a movie night. We'll sit down and watch
Yes,
one.
we should have a
Yeah.
movie night too. Yes. So
there's one question I wanted to ask before you got up.
the new Black Spider-Man movie is out. We should. I have a large screen TV and surround sound. We could meet at my place with some popcorn and
I'll
watch
bring the
it.
popcorn.
Yes. Okay. Perfect.
Let's do it. There's one question I wanted to ask before we sign off. Do podcasters need a entertainment attorney?
Podcasters.
Yes. They're
Yes,
creating their
they do.
shows.
Oh
They
yes,
do.
absolutely. Mhm.
Okay. So
Yes.
we have to send some people your way.
Yes.
For sure.
So there are
right?
a lot of issues raised with podcasting, intellectual property, yeah, rights, as well as issues with copyright infringement, either on their part or on the part of others who reuse their content. If they are influencers, there are lots of disclaimers that that they are required to to have, because they're endorsing a product for a fee. So
Mhm.
yes, there are a lot of issues. They really, definitely, absolutely need to consult with an attorney.
Good point.
Awesome. Good point. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Donovan. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you
Thank you
guys for
again.
watching. See you again next week on Focus on You with Phil and Oscar. Take care, everybody.
Bye bye.